You're listening to THIMK. It's like think, but with an M instead of an N, so it's THINK. A podcast for learning, an educational-ish podcast. Except this time, it's about a movie. And that movie is The Batman. This is part 2 of our episode on a very long movie. And I will let my also host, Paul Vine, take it away. Paul?
Oh, hello. We're back to continue talking about the hit 2022 film, The Batman.
And when we... Oh, sorry.
Highest grossing film in 2022, right?
It's only been a few months.
I mean,
has it beaten Uncharted?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So to pick up where we left off,
film.
Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz. Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz. Julie Newmar. Eartha Kitt.
Zoe Kravitz.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. Anne Hathaway.
And
Zoe Kravitz.
well, here's the thing I will say. I'm glad that Catwoman in this film has a fucking arc that seems like it matters, as opposed to The Dark Knight Rises, in which I cannot tell you a thing that happens with Catwoman in that film, other than it's Anne Hathaway.
She tries to steal the code that would wipe her slate clean completely. And then,
Her mom said to not get into cars with strangers, and then she gets into the Bat Jet, and then she's like, my mom always told me not to get into cars with strangers. And then Batman's like, it's not a car. Sorry.
Ben Mendelsohn is there, and he's like, a perfect slate to wipe clean your identity. It was fiction. I like those movies. I like all three of them in different ways.
The thing is I think of The Dark Knight Rises, and the things that I think of is I think of Your Big Man for You. Classic.
That's good. I got a Bane mask in here too. Shit.
I used to be able to do a great Bane voice with a cowbell.
It's so funny.
It gives you the perfect metallic.
For you.
That's the one line of him that isn't ADR, right?
The For You?
No, it's not that. It's in that scene because they did the test, and everyone was like, "This is nonsense. We can't hear him." So they redo all of it except for.
And then fucking Christopher Nolan was like, yes. They can't hear him. You don't need to hear him. It's all vibes. It's not about dialogue.
No, I love.
Sorry. He's
that.
like, it's all about vibes. It's not dialogue. It's all about vibes.
He's such a quiet, unassuming man. But
it's all about vibes. I'm going to throw my body out of this plane.
Yeah, and the one line that isn't ADR in The Dark Knight Rises is with no survivors. That's the one. That's the one. Or maybe it's the crashing this plane with no survivors. I watch that scene all the time on YouTube. I love that scene. It's so stupid. I'm gonna, before we segue back into talking about this film, I want to say I'm a big dweeb who loves the movies, and the weird press around movies is always silly to me. And the interview where Pattinson gives about how he just found out that he was cast to play Batman, because trying to remember. I'm going to look.
Some other director, right? Congratulates him.
He was filming Tenet, and then he was like, "I've got to do a secret little I don't know. This is how he talks. I got to do a secret little screen test for Batman." So he's like.
The other actor that
and
was
then Christopher Nolan was like, "Congratulations."
Yeah,
sorry,
exactly
he was like,
what it was.
"Congratulations! I hear you got to be the Batman."
Yeah,
because he's a tiny little cute guy.
Christopher Nolan is the Dormouse.
Christopher Nolan is right here in my pocket. Actually, he's in my breast pocket. I have him here.
I'm writing another movie. It's called Tenet 2. It's about a guy. It's about a big gun that shoots time. Do you need more time? Because it'll shoot more time. And you see someone, and you pull the trigger on them, and then they're 5 years older, and you get some more guys that they've been shot. So then someone makes a knife that when you stab someone, it makes them young.
Tenet rules. I recommend it to everyone.
It's my favorite movie about a gun that shoots time.
It really is. It's way better than any other one I could think of, which is none. But yeah, so yeah, Arpats gets the call and he's like, "Hey, you've been offered Batman." He's like, "Holy shit!" And then he just like basically steps out of the trailer, and then Nolan is just standing there, he's like, "Hey, congrats!" And he's like, "What the fuck, man?" Do you know the 3 other actors that were considered for Batman?
Real quick, do you think that there is an alternate universe in which Christopher Nolan texts Robert Pattinson, but actually he texts like who's another Robert, like famous Robert actor? That
Are you describing? Are you describing Bill Belichick texting Brian Flores? Congrats, Brian. And he's like, "Wait, do you mean this is Brian Flores? Do you mean Brian DeBall?" And he's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like the thing where it's like, "Oh shit, Belichick did that to destroy his rivals."
Yeah.
The 3 actors who were cast. Let me guess.
Robert Wagner.
Wait. What?
Robert Mitchum.
Okay.
And Robert. I was just thinking.
Robert Mitchum's Batman would be wild.
Yeah, the other 3 actors that were considered.
I got this. Shia LaBeouf.
No.
Hold on.
But one is as canceled as.
Hold on.
Sorry.
James Franco.
Hold on. Dave Franco.
Dave Franco.
Hold on. Kumail Nanjiani.
Do you want to take that from the top?
Yes.
We're not live,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. You're watching THIMK. Hold on. I got this. It's Jake Gyllenhaal. Hold on. Jake Gyllenhaal. Paul Dano's already in the movie.
Paul Giamatti.
Oh, Paul
Giamatti.
Dano. Hold on,
Batman.
Paul Dano doing a dual role.
Michael
Like
Gandolfini. And TJ Miller.
Okay, do you want me to answer actually this time, or do you want to do we're taking this from the top and the jokes?
Paul, do you have any guesses?
For Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah, people who could play Batman right now.
I can give clues for these actors.
Nope. We don't
No,
know.
no. Barry Keoghan, because they loved his performance as Druig. I know he's already in the film, but
Before they shot Droog, they were like, "We got to get that guy in here."
They saw Barry Keoghan is Droog on a poster, and they're like, "We need him for Batman."
Mm-hmm.
We've got Idris Elba playing Batman because they can't think of another black actor. And let's go ahead. Who's the guy who played New Morpheus? Yahya
Abdul-Mateen.
Yes, I would love to see him.
Hot.
I would love to see him as Batman.
So hot.
Are any 3 of those correct? Because I have ideas.
No, none of the 3 are correct. Also, Yahya Abdul-Mateen is playing Black Manta in the Aquaman movies,
Oh, that's
so they
right.
couldn't get him.
That's true.
You could.
No, they wouldn't crosscast. It was very important that they do not crosscast. That was the thing they ran into, and actually caused one of these people to not be considered, even though he made the short.
Dylan Sprouse. Cole's not acting, right?
Fine, Cole and Dylan.
Oh,
Okay.
doing like a
Yeah, they trade off. One's Bruce Wayne,
yeah.
one's Batman.
It's the Prestige.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. There it is.
Spoilers for the Prestige. Sorry.
Tom Holland?
Do you want me to say the actual ones?
All right. We've wasted enough time on this.
Robert Pattinson was the front runner from the start.
He already got it. That can't be one.
No, I'm saying I'm setting the stage.
Okay.
He was the front runner from the start, who was who they wanted end to end. Reeves wanted him because of Good Time and wrote the script with him in mind.
Yes.
Other actors considered were Nicholas Hoult, who was the one that came. He was the runner-up.
That's
the guy from Arrested Development, right? Nick Holt.
Fuck off. I was like trying to figure out what the joke was. Yeah, Nicholas Hoult.
Wait, who's Nicholas Hoult? Okay. So,
he was Beast in the X-Men movies.
That's who I thought. That's who I thought the first second. I thought he might be Nicholas Braun. Just for a
he was
second.
How would he? Cousin Greg as if anyone was going to play Batman from Succession, it'd be Kieran Culkin as a weird psycho freak.
Sure, but what if it was Greg as
Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Okay, yeah.
Who was basically dismissed because he was Quicksilver.
Yeah, and Kick-Ass.
But Quicksilver was more, they were like, we don't want anyone who had been in the MCU. And a person who had been previously cast to play Batman, in the canceled Justice League film directed by George Miller, the even more canceled Army Hammer. They dodged a bullet.
Man.
They dodged a speeding bullet that wants to eat you.
They could have leaned into Cannibal Batman.
I do think Army Hammer would be a good Batman.
Cannibal Batman. Other actors considered, not for Batman, they really, really wanted Jonah Hill to be in this movie as either.
I remember that.
They wanted him as Riddler or Penguin, and they were like, you can pick.
Yeah. I don't see him as either of those characters. I can't imagine him.
The thing that held it up was Jonah Hill was like, I'll do it for $10 million. And Pattinson's getting like $3 million for this film.
Yeah.
And they were like, no. And they're like,
what's the budget for this film? It was really
the budget was only between $185 and $200 million, which is a lot of money. But honestly, for this film is not as much as you would expect anymore.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for a superhero film to be less than 200 is, I feel like, shocking at this point.
Yeah. And that probably factors in at least a little bit of the the Captain America Civil War budget. Here's the perfect one for this, which was a film that came out 6 years ago, was $250 million then. And that film looks like shit.
The airport scene sucks
So much. There's a really great scene where they introduce Spider-Man, and I was like, oh my god. And then the rest of it looks like gray fucking shit. And this film, shouts out to Greg Fraser, who also shot Dune, who knows how to fucking shoot a movie, because he did
like 4 films in the last year, 2 years that have been. I forgot. I saw like a list that was like, here are the other 2 films that this guy did.
He genuinely makes things look cinematic. He did Rogue One a couple years ago, which is another film that looks great. Yeah, that's the one where it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. And he's going to do the new Gareth Edwards film, but Dune what's the new Gareth Edwards film? It's called True Love. It is a few details. It's a science fiction film with Gemma Chan, who can't act but is pretty. John David Washington, who I do really like. Allison Janney, Ken Watanabe, and holy fucking shit, Virgil Simpson.
All right, cool.
What?
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm fucking in.
pumped for that because Gareth Edwards did the fucking 2014 Godzilla film, which
I love that fucking movie.
It fucking whips.
That movie fucking rules.
So, okay, literally though, I was thinking of that movie. Like I was talking to Sarah about this when we left the theater, because the seminal part of that film is the airdrop sequence where they drop through the fucking sky with the flares, and you see for the first time, because you don't see the real size of Godzilla until that scene, and you're just like, oh fuck, he big, he's huge, and that the way that is lit is so much of the last half of this film.
I love that. Yeah, I might like the one of the things that I really liked with this film, and I apologize, I'm a big photography nerd, but I liked how much of this was just like Greg Fraser and Matt Reeves, like, what if we stuck a camera basically where like a wheel would be, and you would just have this part where you see a little bit of a car, and then you see like what's happening behind. There's a lot of like the reflections of things. It looks just cool, and the best shot is, and it's in the trailers, but it's just the fucking Penguin's car crashed, cackling as Batman walks to him upside down. Just looks fucking cool, and the music. Holy shit, I can't believe I haven't talked much about the music. Michael Giacchino goes fucking wild on it. I was listening to the whole score last night while I was playing video games with friends that we'd played a bunch before, and I needed a different thing to listen to. The score is great. It sounds fucking killer.
I really like that one song he wrote they kept playing.
Highway to the Anger Zone?
It was like something about bridges and fish.
Underneath the bridge.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. It sounds cool. It's a good film.
That's Michael Giacchino?
Yeah.
The guy who did the Lost soundtrack,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And has an Oscar from, I think, a Pixar film.
Wait, you said Lost?
Yeah. He did the score for Lost.
Yeah, this is JJ's sons going out in the world and making something better than what he's.
They're better than the father.
Yeah, exactly. He has Michael. Is there an awards section? Yeah.
It's always the fucking
He
Italians,
won an Oscar for Up. That was the one.
It's always the Italians. The Italians can score.
John Williams. Famous Italian John Williams.
They made him change his last name of the island.
Yeah.
It used to be Willard
John Williams.
John.
Reggiano Williano.
Exactly. There was a they were very progressive.
The use of shadow in this film was great. Like it's another thing that I really liked, and it's we haven't touched on this as much. This is we haven't discussed it at all, actually. I think, but as a big Batman dweeb, a long-standing relationship with Batman, my good friend, the Batman, I appreciated that this film was the one that was just like, oh, no, he doesn't kill. No. That's a key thing with him. Because every other Batman movie, he kills at least a person. Mm-hmm. Like, Keaton's Batman kills, like, hella dudes. And this is the one where it's like, Zoe Kravitz goes to shoot somebody, and he, like, karate chops the gun out of her hands. He's like, no.
I like that. Yeah. I like that he's, like, he doesn't kill, but he doesn't kill in the way that, like, straight edge dudes will still go to parties. Like, people around him are doing it, and that's fine. But he's like, oh, I don't think you should do that. He's like a vegan when it comes to not killing. He's just really, where they're like, "That's your thing." Doesn't Jim Gordon say that at one point? He's like, "That's your." Yeah,
it's when they go into It's when they go into the orphanage. He pulls his gun out, and Batman he just goes, "No guns," and he's like, "Yeah, man, that's your thing." And it's another funny bit because it's not super played up for laughs. It's just a quick like, no, these are guys like if you. I think you and I were talking, and it's like it felt like a Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it's not a quip. It's a natural funny exchange between
because they've been working
characters that have
because
rapport.
they're coworkers essentially. No, I think
Batman's just kind of the weird freelance guy they bring in for difficult situations. I like that. That's a beautiful way to look at it.
Has anyone here seen The Talented Mr. Ripley?
No, but I have seen The American Friend, which is connected to that movie.
The greatest line reading of all time is Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Talented Mr. Ripley shouting at Matt Damon's character after he has looked in on Jude Law and Gwyneth Paltrow having sex, shouting, "How's the peeping, Tommy?
Hey,
how's the peeping? How's the peeping?" So when the Riddler started and it was clear that it was him looking through there, I wanted to stand up and shout, "How's the peeping, Riddler? How's the peeping?"
Batman does that shit later, though. And he's actually looking at
dude, and then I was like, "How's the peeping, Bruce?
Yeah.
How's the peeping?"
Yeah, he was just like, "Yeah, you put on that cat suit."
It's like, yeah, let's linger a little longer. All right.
So I do like that later he's just like a big dweeb where he's like, "Oh, is that what she said? I was watching you through the window. I'm very cool. I'm Batman."
Oh, the funniest shit is...
You want to get dinner?
Batman just saying, "You have a lot of cats." Oh, sorry.
So good.
That's something I do want to talk about.
It's a funny movie.
And then she says, "Yeah, I'm a fan of strays," which is like...
She's coming on to him, and then he stands there and
he says, "I have a thing for strays," which... Again, given the conversation around the other girl, Annika, that she was keeping, is what helps to solidify that, like, yes, she is open, like, not
she's obviously bisexual. She's fucking that girl.
Obviously,
she's fucking that girl. She was sad that didn't. Now, what I want to talk about real quick, is in that moment she says, "I got a thing for strays." Or sorry, "I have a thing for strays," which makes sense because we know Batman's an orphan. She doesn't know that. Later in the movie, she also says, "I don't know who you are, but whoever you are, you must have been born rich." She knows orphan. She knows rich. She knows it's Bruce Wayne, right? But she won't lead on. She knows, though. I don't know if in other like versions of Batman, if Selena Kyle knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. Is that like
they're married?
It alternates. It kind of alternates
now.
They're married?
No.
In the comics.
No. Batman left her at the altar because his enemies or whatever.
Bastard.
Fucking Christ.
It's fine. In my head.
They were going to get married.
Robert Pattinson is like, you see, I just think of my interpretation of Batman's he has commitment issues. You know, he's got a whole menagerie of villains. He's not ready to commit to one villain.
Listen, Zoe. The thing when I think of my version of Batman is much like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. He's really torn between these two women.
That was
Robert Pattinson describing the Tifa Aerith romantic divide to Zoe Kravitz, who's like, "You're hot, so I'm going to listen to this conversation."
But she was also like, so one's nice and one's hot, and that's how you think the two type of women are? And he's like,
well, it's a bit more complicated than that, love.
Yeah, those damn.
And then he was like, "Yeah, baby, yeah,
baby, yeah. I'm single again. FKA Twigs and I couldn't work it out. Oh,
So to the is he to the girl listening at home? Robert Pattinson single.
Cloud, Robert Pattinson. Where were we? What was the point right before this?
We were going to talk about the thumb drive. I wanted to talk about more of the political intrigue of this film, but we
no. I wanted to build off of one specific thing that was said, and I can't remember what it is now. So,
I want to talk about the thumb drive.
Let's talk about the thumb drive. Let's hit the thumb drive and then the other penguin bit that I thought was really funny, and then let's move on to some other stuff.
I'm bummed.
Funny bits.
I'm glad that this film didn't release day and date on HBO. But if it had, I would already have created an edit for the part where because they stumble upon the word drive in the clue because of the fact Nick has maybe seen where my dumb joke.
There's a question in chat from creepy Jimmy Stewart. I'm late, but was Underneath the Bridge in the movie?
There's a song that keeps playing called Underneath the Bridge. It's not the Red Hot Chili Peppers Under the Bridge song.
God.
No, that song plays like 5 times in the movie.
A lot.
It plays a lot.
Like anytime they're like doing an establishing shot of Gotham, it plays Underneath the Bridge.
And Something in the Way plays a lot.
And also it plays while Bruce Wayne drives his motorcycle underneath the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Something in the Way. Yeah. It plays... Something in the Way plays while he drives his motorcycle underneath the bridge into a secret lair.
It's very silly. I appreciated it. Things should be silly. But no, just there's the part where they're like, what if we just ignored the other parts? Because like one of the first times I really laughed hard at this film was when Batman, Bruce Wayne, comes down and finds Alfred doing the cryptography like it's the Sunday crossword. He's like, it reminds me of my circus days, and I was like, what? And he's like, what if we just ignored all of that? What does it come up with? And it says Drive.
Dude.
And if this film had released day and date on HBO Max, I would have already created the edit where that says Drive My Car. And then I'd be like, Batman's telling you to stream Drive My Car now on HBO Max.
That's true.
It's just as long.
It is cool that, like, Batman is a guy who can't sleep because of trauma and just has so many hobbies. Like, his car is in pieces earlier in the movie. And then a week goes by, and that car is fucking working. Also, I'm not sure if I misread the scene, but it seems like he starts the car up and then it dies. Right?
I definitely thought he flooded it. I fully was like, did Batman flood the clutch?
I think that's the joke, right? Like, I think he genuinely floods it the first time.
I also
and then there's a
think
lull,
he floods
and then it happens.
And I thought that was what was some of the fun of that, because he sees the thing that says Drive, and then, like a sensible person, he's like, we have to check his cars.
Mm-hmm.
And he and Gordon go through the mayor's cars.
Which they've already established. They've already established that the mayor's hand is missing a finger.
Yes, they were like, he's like, it was cut off while he was alive. See, around the edges.
And they're like, he's just like he does some fucking like he took Anatomy 201 shit where he's just like when somebody's like the stippling around the stippling around the gunshot indicates that the gun was within 6 inches of being fired.
Yeah, genuinely, another good touch in that whole scene is when he's just walking around and he kind of like takes half a step towards something, and then a photographer comes over and is like, what? And then sees like a blood splatter there and then takes a photo, and then he just kind of steps away like he's like a video game guide for these people. It was like, hey, maybe there's something over here.
Oh yeah, he steps on the creaky floor.
I would love Batman as Na'vi. It's like, hey, listen.
Hey, listen.
No,
listen.
No,
jump
because
onto the
at
hiker's back.
Creepy Jimmy Stewart, stop watching this. There's so many spoilers. We're talking about the entire movie. I know. Don't say I'm going if you haven't seen it.
Batman Raw Dogs Gordon.
Dude,
at the end
no,
of
the
film.
part of the movie at the end where that cop's just like, I feel like this is like the line of line of dialogue that you have to unlock for the NPC, but it takes like 5 like rounds of questions to get there. Where he's like, pretty crazy that he killed him with that carpet tool, right? And Batman's just like,
Nick, you truly
talking
were
about?
playing Elden Ring because you realize you have to talk to an NPC 5 straight times before they give you the important detail.
huh? Oh my God, there's carpet on the floor. Stand back.
I love earlier when after Alfred gets bombed, because Bruce Wayne was one of the targets because sins of the father will be paid to the son, and Alfred gets bombed, and then he's like, now we need to solve this case. And so like the climactic moment is him, instead of like, you know, in previous Batman movies where he just like goes and beats the shit out of a bunch of poor people, he just takes his shirt off and moves his family's dining room table so he can spray paint on the floor all of the clues he has.
Yeah, that rocks.
I do.
That's
like
the writing
because
process.
There, like that is, I think, the visual motif tying Batman to the fucking Riddler, where they both like ruin their floors basically for a purpose. But when fucking like the truest middle-aged cop depiction I've ever seen in the movie is a dumbass putting a random fucking thumb drive in his computer and then being like, oh, it's opening my emails, oh god, oh no, oh, I just sent a bunch of media to all the stations.
I saw people being so mad about that. They're like, Jim Gordon is a good cop, why would he do that? I'm like, because cops are dumb.
Imagine Jim Gordon in this movie,
Cops are
every single
idiots.
thing Jim Gordon does in this movie, but it's like Tim Robinson as Jim Gordon, which is like, oh no, can I unplug it? It's a laptop, it's already charged, I can't plug it. Batman, don't you have a thing in your belt to like block Wi-Fi?
Oh.
Jim Gordon is seconds away from doing the fucking Zoolander. The files are in the computer. Throw it computer on the ground.
I'm gonna catch hell for this one.
And then later in the movie, when kind of out of nowhere, well, one, it's amazing when the Riddler's live streaming, and then it just shows like the Instagram like hearts flying out from people liking it. Like, yes. I wish they'd done the TikTok thing where someone paid like $5 to put like sunglasses on him, and he's like, I appreciate it, Gotham Lover 69.
If one of the messages
do something important right now.
If one of the messages in chat was highlighted and just like, which gauge do we bring? But in highlighted,
or if he was streaming on Twitch and he had TTS set up, and he was just like, all right, Donos, stop for it. I'm going to have to turn off TTS if you don't let me. I'm trying to do my manifesto right now.
Two things. Riddler
every time someone subscribes, it just goes like,
yeah. Two things. The Riddler should have said poggers. Second thing, somebody in the comments should have said show feet.
That's true.
If the Riddler is looking out, he's just like, you're right.
Oh,
you're right. You're right there. Yeah. Trans lives matter. Anyways, like,
it was incredible when it got to the end, and it was foreshadowing what's about him. But when he like unlocks it, and then the comments on the video are just like, it's a winter hunting mask. You can get them at the Army surplus store. Which
dude,
is
that was the best piece of writing in the entire movie.
That was so funny because you get all those comments there, and you don't know what the fuck they're actually referring to, and you just get the Riddler being like, "Thanks, guys, I love you so much," and in the bottom you get what is clearly a 4chan post. Mm-hmm. Like they just went to 4chan and pulled like. How it is like it doesn't make any sense to be there, but they were just like, yeah, we're just trying to tie this to some QAnon January 6th shit, and then eventually them realize like oh shit, he's gonna like blow up, he's gonna have a bunch of people attack Gotham Square Garden.
I love it.
The funniest thing to me is when he releases that video to the news about like that finally gives up the whole deal, the whole conspiracy that like when Wayne was assassinated, there was a slush fund that everyone using for their own purposes.
And that he had had a reporter that he had had a reporter killed to keep the family secret because Martha Arkham, which brutal name, I'm sorry. Yeah. Had was just like Arkham. There.
Yeah.
Or why did you say that name?
I love the idea that when they show that, it's like he hired an editor. Like, it's such a YouTube video. It's such a true crime YouTube video that one of his 500 followers is like an alt-right YouTube editor who's like, Riddler, I got you free of charge. I can we can pull some graphics. I can do a little edits. Like, you bring the voiceover.
Riddler having like the principal from Abbott Elementary do like the TikTok videos for him.
Another thing I love,
guys, here's my wish list. I'm the poorest serial killer, the poorest serial killer in Gotham City.
What are you saying?
Ian said he asked if he lost connection.
Oh no, you're still good. Oh,
he's gone.
Oh god,
Batman got me.
Damn.
Another thing though that I just loved in this dumb stuff is when they show the news broadcast of one of the Riddler videos. And you see the captions when they're doing the broadcast, and then they cut back to Pattinson's face, and there are no captions, and you're like, what is the Riddler saying in this moment? It's weirdly muffled. And then they go back to the broadcast, and there are the captions on there, and I was like, I appreciate that they made it very clear that the captions are only on the television recording.
Yeah.
I do really like that when Peter Sarsgaard came out with the pizza guy bomb and the HQ deadly HQ trivia strapped to his hand, that Robert Pattinson just, walked up and was like, "Huh? What are we doing? Trivia? I got this. I know all the answers. What's the first one?" What was the first one? He's like, it was like, it's blind and sometimes you don't get it. And he's like, that's justice.
Yeah. And it's just like, he wants to know who the rat is. And then he's like, I'd rather die. And I was like, yeah, it's all talk. And then his head blew up. And I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, and Batman didn't even flinch. He was just like...
No, he got blown backwards.
Yeah.
He got fucked up from that. He was shell-shocked.
He couldn't.
And then he wakes up and he's surrounded by the cops. And the one cop is like, I just want to take the mask off. And then Batman wakes up and starts beating the shit out of that guy. And then... Jeffrey Wright is like, to your corners, fucking cool down, and does that like 6 times in that scene.
Yeah.
It's great, and I do appreciate that while we are never going to get a Batman that says a cab, it does rule that when Batman is just telling the guy whose friend, he is telling his friend in the police, whose friend and former partner just died, and he's just like, he had it coming. And Jeffrey Wright is like, what? He's like, maybe he wasn't who you knew he was. But he was who I knew he was.
That guy sucked. His voice was super annoying, too.
That's the thing about this film. He was
rude to me. He was rude to me every time I met him.
The thing about this film is that it's so much of it is a political intrigue film, right? It is about the what is going on with this rainy day fund shit. I forget what they call it. The renewal fund, right?
Yeah. Gotham Renewal Fund.
Yes. So it is what's going on with the renewal fund. Where did that money go? What happened with it? There's a lot around the mayoral election, specifically Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stand-in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, real change.
Real change, Real. And the other thing is she is not a leftist, but is very clearly running on an anti-corruption, very left center candidate, based on what's happening.
Also, doesn't Catwoman call out Batman on his straight white male privilege?
Yes, there is something around that. I think.
Rich privilege. There's a talk on privilege.
Yes, there's a thing where there's a thing Ian brought up earlier where she does say oh, I can tell you grew up rich.
Yeah, he says something dumb and she's like, oh, you rich fucking brat, which is good.
Because Batman's like, why would you do crime? And she's like, for money. And he's like, why would you need money? Just don't do crime.
I'm remembering
you do crime for a little money. And she's like, clearly you're...
Well, I love that theme though, right? Because the Riddler is also an orphan who grew up in an orphanage, and it's hey, guess what happens when you aren't the orphan of fucking billionaires? It sucks. You grow up in a foster home system that sucks.
Is the Riddler wrong when he's just like, Bruce Wayne, oh, he was the special orphan?
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, slightly. Losing your parents sucks regardless. But also he's completely right that Bruce Wayne was different.
No one's wrong in that scene.
Rich.
Everything he says, and then when Batman's like, you're a murderous psychopath, and I hate you.
It is
weird, and your haircut sucks, and
you won't
it is so good that it is like a rom-com proposal that he says no to.
Yeah,
it's oh my god, that's what you think? No,
Ew.
If SNL hasn't already done this, they're going to do a bit where it's the Riddler showing up outside of Bruce Wayne's house with the signs from Love Actually.
SNL won't do it because
they already did it with.
I was going to say because they're owned. You know, it's Peacock, and Peacock's not going to want to hype up their competitors.
We can do that. We can just make a TikTok.
Yeah, we could just do that. You're right.
Make a TikTok of that.
I remember one of the things I wanted to say earlier, which is one of my favorite versions of Batman was Batman the Animated Series Batman. And I think this kind of plays a lot on that depiction of Gotham. But I think I always loved was in one of the Justice League episodes, which was the same character. A thing that I think really understood it is there's an episode where Wonder Woman is just blatantly hitting on him. And Batman just kind of looks at her and he's like, there are two reasons this isn't going to work out. One, dating in the team always fails. Two, you are an immortal princess, and I am a rich kid with issues. Lots of them. And I feel like our paths could say that in the next film to Zoe Kravitz Catwoman. It's like, I am a rich kid with issues. Lots of them.
So are we ready to talk about the next film?
Well, did we want to talk? We kind of touched on the whole like cop stuff. Do we have anything else we want to talk about the mob stuff?
The other thing around the cops thing is that this film does the thing that, like, again, none of these films are going to ever have great politics. I do like that it plays into this like class warfare aspect of, again, going back to the architecture of the extremely gothic architecture whenever it's rich people, and the like industrial architecture of everything else and how shitty it is.
It sucks that Batman says you're a good cop, but he only says that to Gordon, and that's basically him saying I love you, but he can't say I love you because Batman isn't in touch with his sexuality.
So there's also the thing of like, oh yeah, what do the rich people do? Well, all the fucking rich people go to the seedy part of the city to go party in the slums because they get off on that. Like, that stuff is in there. Like, everything with Catwoman wanting to be like, no, fuck the rich people. Like, I'm just going to take their money. Like, this was a long con. I was going to take the money and I was going to fucking peace out.
Her with the contacts just walking through the club and Batman being like, Jesus fucking Christ, that's the whole DA's office.
Yes.
Like,
and then like
they're all there.
Also, him being like, "Hey, go talk to that guy." And she's like, "No, I'm not gonna." Like that was another
talk
really.
To Peter Sarsgaard.
That was
It'll be a whole thing.
That was also really good.
Like, yeah, you're wearing my weird contacts. You got to talk to him.
That was also really good. I feel like gender thing of just like Batman just being like, "Yeah, just go talk to him. It'd be fine." And she's like, "No, if I literally look back at him, he's gonna be like." It's time for me to hit on this person. And she's like, I don't want to deal with that.
And then it's the DA. Go hit on the DA.
Oh my God. Peter Sarsgaard's just like, hey, you're hot. I'm really stressed out. I'm hot.
What is this fucking drug they're all doing, by the way?
We're in a lot of trouble because we're doing crimes and someone told we did crimes.
Like
the last person I told that's dead. Anyway, do you want
I gotta go get in my car.
Drugs? Okay, you're leaving. That's fine. I'll just wait until you leave and then I'll follow you and then
I wish I could see Matt Reeves' direction for Peter Sarsgaard at this moment. It's like, hey, you're Jimmy Stewart who just did a lot of bad drugs. Oh gosh. Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, the part where the one person is like, it's fucked, and he's like, shut the fuck up. It's not that bad.
My life's falling apart, but you're really pretty. Do you want to put drugs in your drink and then hear me talk about all the crimes that I let happen?
Who hasn't been there in that moment where you're like, oh, my life is falling apart, but I'm going to talk to this pretty woman.
But that is where the film eventually ends up is like, yeah, there's good cops and there's bad cops, and the bad cops are the ones who are on the take, and the good cops the like 500 cops that show up at the end to arrest.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking bad guy.
It's not 500. It's 30. There's a great scene. It is kind of incredible. I do think it's good that like Gotham PD, assuming that it's like NYPD, is huge. Yeah, and then at the end, Gordon's like, we're not all bad. And then it's like a large van full of people, like
enough to field. It is field 2 intramural football teams arrive. And then they're like, let's step him out into the spotlight. And then his brain gets blown up, and Batman stands over there and just is like, lead him into the light.
He's like, oh fuck, I solved the puzzle.
Oh, that guy lives right there.
It feels like a Dark Souls game where you're like, oh, there's a bit here, let me solve this, and then you do it and you're like, I did it, and then you just get like fucking pushed into the
I was gonna say
die.
it's Breath of the Wild where you summon a shrine and then you walk in and the shrine kills you. And also afterwards, before, it's the most cryptic clue of all time of the like, no, what? It's law, not L.
Oh,
URL, Rada. And then he's like, URL, is it a website? Which is extreme D&D brain.
I love that because it again.
Yeah, because you love Myst.
Well, yes, that, but also like it is a thing where they're like fucking like beating the shit out of the penguin, and on the I guess there's one building that they keep going to that must be like an abandoned skyscraper that nobody is just like, yeah, why does Jim always go hang out at the like in progress skyscraper?
It does.
Like they're like, where are they? Where could they possibly be? And it's like, I don't know. Is it the building the fucking bat signal is coming from?
I love later in the film when Catwoman uses it and Batman and Jim arrive at the same time and they're like, I thought this was you. Like, I love that dumb joke of just like, wait, it's not you. And they're like,
the other good dumb joke they make was when Batman punches Jim Gordon in the face and then they're reunited and he's like, you could have pulled your punch. Man.
And he says,
I worded it.
I did.
But yeah, like talking to the penguin and being like, La Rada El Rada or what? I don't remember what the clue.
You
you
I gotta be
are.
honest. I had no idea what the fuck was going on at that point.
Well, that's
it's
the
just
thing.
like, oh, cool, website.
But that's the thing. Like the kicker there is that like the clue is relying on you knowing basic Spanish grammar to know that what he has put is incorrect. That there's a mistake there, and that you're supposed to highlight that and use that to solve the puzzle.
Okay.
But
Farmer
Jim Gordon and Batman are both people who live in Gotham, which is basically Chicago, and don't speak fucking any Spanish.
Canonically, Gotham is in New Jersey, and Metropolis is in
it's
Delaware.
Chicago.
Anyways,
And this one is Chicago.
Chicago.
It's Chicago because it's also a bunch of Eastern Europeans.
I was arguing recently with former THIMK guest, my co-host, and as you know, Stephen Doughton, about this because he was like, "Isn't Batman kind of stupid?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, but I think it serves the film." And the other thing too is that Stephen was my DM on a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and Stephen would leave clues for us where it was like, you find a bottle of Chardonnay, but the A and Y are capitalized, and then that was, we had to like use that to figure something out later. But when one of our friends was just like Chardonnay, we were like, Phil, shut the fuck up. That's stupid. There must be something else. And then later, Steven's like, I thought you guys would figure that out. The A and the Y were capitalized.
So that's good.
So Steven, I imagine Steven heard the URL Rata and immediately was like, oh, website. That's what you need to do.
The dumb shit that I, real quick as an aside, the dumb shit that I did for a D&D campaign once is I did the classic like lemon juice thing, invisible ink, and I made a bunch of copies of a letter that I explicitly burnt part of to show that they had been
part of this campaign.
Yes, that to show that they had been near a fire, to try to hint like, and I left also some other clues of like a flame will light the way or something like that, to try to be like, yeah, like put this near heat, do the fucking national treasure, like a map will be revealed.
That was the thing with talking about this, because I was like, I appreciate how Batman is just like, these are some dumb clues, Riddler.
Well, isn't it good? Because like with the Zodiac Killer, it took so long for them to figure out the cipher because he did it wrong.
Yeah, that I fully am like, oh, it's good because Riddler leaves weird, strange clues, and Batman comes around to them, and it's like, also it's like this movie would be boring if the Riddler immediately left a clue and Batman is like, here's what it is. Well, and instead, it's way funnier for them to be like, it's way funnier for Colin Farrell doing a James Gandolfini impression to scream, you, does anyone here know Spanish?
Yeah.
It's law.
So the thing is also,
and also it's good because earlier Alfred goes, my Spanish is a bit rusty.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think a thing that,
I mean, that's not why it's good. It's good because it's silly, but I appreciate
I think the thing that people also undersell is that like
riddles are silly.
Riddles, jokes, humor, any of that stuff that relies on some level of subjectivity are so ingrained in how your brain functions. 99% of the time that I make a joke or something that I think is funny, somebody stares at me dumbly because I have my dad's sense of humor because it was beat into me, not physically. But,
some people don't
verbal.
stare at you dumbly. Some people stare at you with just like seething contempt.
Yes, but it's a thing
smile.
where it's a thing where I think it's really funny, but then like you do sometimes have to explain where the logical leap is that my brain goes, this is a funny thing to say, or this is the answer to the riddle, that everybody else's brains don't connect that. And I think that that's exactly what the Riddler is.
A lot of your jokes require like an abstraction on an abstraction that's referencing another abstraction, which I get, but yeah, sometimes you just look at the other people and it's like,
yeah, why? Yeah, it's a thing. It's like why? Why did you do that? And I think that that's what the Riddler is. The Riddler feels like a fucking 90s point and click adventure game.
Absolutely.
Where you're just like when we played fucking Toonstruck.
Yeah, what if he was like, what if Riddler was like, at the orphanage, there was one PC running Windows 98 and it had mist on it. And that's all
favorite
I could do.
game was Grim Fandango, Batman. And Batman's like, we have to take the sheets from this building
Batman's
and click
like,
them on the window. That's how we get out.
Alfred tried to get me to play Day of the Tentacle once. I thought it was fucking lame.
I really like Psychonauts. I prefer Tim Schafer's later
I
on.
play Sims.
Batman, would you like to play a game? It's called Phantasmagoria.
I built
Batman.
my mansion in Sims, but my parents are still alive.
Batman karate chopping the controller out of someone's hands because they're playing Call of Duty.
No guns.
Sometimes
Slaps
I
only.
draft Alfred in the
Slaps
pool as a
only.
joke.
Gamer Batman would be very good.
That's
That's the sequel right there.
Gamer Batman.
Gamer
He's
Batman.
like really good at Mortal Kombat and Tekken. He's mostly
Batman finding out that his dad was a shit and then went to John Turturro and didn't expect John Turturro to murder a person, and then John Turturro extremely murdered a person. And John Turturro is standing there with his silly sunglasses, just like, listen, I can't believe I'm in this movie either, but I'm happy to be here.
Like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm John Turturro, but I'm a
You
real
love me.
piece of shit. Everything
It's
I'm
weird.
gonna say it's gonna sound nice because I'm John Turturro.
I
And
was-
I'm gonna
I was-
lie to you. Remember, I'm a piece.
I was talking about this with a friend where I was like, it's weird that Carmine Falcone is now like one of the like 10 most like esteemed mobster roles. And it's just like, yeah, yes, it's a important reoccurring character, Carmine Falcone.
Again,
It's so good. The level of dumb shit of like, Penguin doesn't have wings, or Penguin has wings but can't fly, and then later they're like, Bat's got wings, and they're like, fuck, Falcone's just the Italian word for falcon. Like, it's me playing Wordle when the word is like, you know, I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, at a point in that I was like, a rat with. I was like, oh, it's Catwoman's the rat. A rat with wings. A cat. No, that doesn't work.
They just go through. They're like, "Here's 7 people it could be." I'm like, "Shit! I only have 3 guesses."
Batman just finds a picture of like a cat in a Halloween costume with wings on it, and he's like, "Could this be anything?"
I would love the 5-hour cut of this film, and 2 of it is just him and Alfred, like Bruce and Alfred going to the Gotham Zoo and like talking to the zoo workers, like, "Hey, do you have any animals that you would describe as a rat with wings? Show me all of your birds." It's like the wings of wonder.
What about Man Bat? Is he a villain here yet? We got Man Bat.
I found out there's a type of bat called Flying Fox. Is there anyone named like Fox? Like
What? Gordon,
Jerry
I know
Fox?
I know it's a stretch, but what about Firefly? That villain of mine who has a jetpack and a flamethrower. No? Okay. Clayface can't fly, right?
I think it's
You know-
Clayface.
Okay,
Maple trees, the wind sends their seeds, so maybe it's poison ivy. You're right. No, that's probably stupid.
I
too.
would love also Stoner Batman getting high with Alfred and just trying to come up with a solution to these riddles.
Kite Man.
That's
Dude, Nick, we
that guy
mentioned it
loves
earlier.
cheese.
The Harley Quinn series I watched some of it with a friend, and we were both like, "There's something up with Kite Man." And then later in the show, Kite Man was like, "I can't do this. I went to Oberlin," and I was like, "I knew something was up with that motherfucker." He went to Oberlin. That fucking shit.
You can't trust Kite Man.
So, what would you have the sequel be? Because I think that's really, unless we want to talk more about Zoe Kravitz.
I always do, but I what do you really need to say other than Zoe Kravitz?
The only other thing is I'm shocked that she was like, I cannot believe that John Turturro, famous mobster, killed my mom.
Okay, here's actually a question I have, which I'm not clear on. Well, I think I'm pretty clear, but like, Turturro didn't know that was his daughter, right? Until she said something.
I don't think so.
She has that moment where she's like, "Hey, do you remember blank? That was my mom."
Yeah.
So all this other time, it was just Turturro being like, "Oh, there's that hot waitress of ours."
Yeah, I don't think he knew that was his daughter. I think that was just him being like a sexy girl that worked at club.
Yeah, okay. I thought that was the case, but I wanted to make sure because I had that moment. I was like, that's how I read it, but it was weird enough. It wasn't, like immediately like that line because it was earlier. It was like, oh, that's her dad. And then she's like, he didn't do shit. And then I didn't see him for years. So I was like, so he doesn't know that's his daughter?
Was my understanding.
Yeah, so, okay. It's probably fucking like he's probably got 45 kids.
But only one of them was Toast the Knowing.
He's
probably
a piece of shit.
Probably all the fucking women that work at that club are secretly his daughter and he didn't know it.
Dude, oh my God, if they just for the next couple of movies just keep being like, it's another fucking Carmine Falcone fail son.
Again, I really, because I had bought into the movie so hard, I said this on the off-screen part, but like I had bought into the movie so hard that I forgot that we knew that Paul Dano was the Riddler, and I was really expecting to actually do the thing from The Long Halloween, or part of the thing from The Long Halloween, where it is Carmine Falcone's son being like, no, my dad doesn't fucking respect me, so I'm going to just murder all these people to show.
So admittedly,
wouldn't that
spoilers for The Long Halloween. One of the good things about The Long Halloween is that Carmine Falcone's son is also like, oh, I didn't do that one. Mm-hmm. Oh, there was a second holiday killer.
And but also it kind of plays in that space where like,
give me a thumbs up when it's
Harvey Dent. It's Harvey Dent.
It's not Harvey Dent.
No, that second holiday killer is Harvey
Talk
Dent.
about this. I'm not editing.
No, it's his wife.
These restrooms.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, you're right. That's what it is. It's Harvey Dent's wife. Yeah, that's what it is. You're right. I was like, isn't it Harvey? And it like, no, it points to his wife.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Is it?
What a good fucking series.
Part of that part of the reason that the Long Halloween is so effective is that I think by the end of it, you could buy that literally the holiday killer is all three of those people. Like all three of those people did the various murders. It is unclear who did what, I think, at times.
And that's why it's good. And that's why I'm glad that they're just like, we talked about it earlier, but I'm just glad that both like The Dark Knight, which I think is, I think Batman Returns, The Dark Knight, and The Batman are the exemplary Batman live action films. I think Mask of the Phantasm is also perfect. And
Mask of the Phantasm is good.
Yeah. But I appreciate that all of them kind of in their own way the Batman Returns is just like the weird psychosexual one of Tim Burton working out some things. But The Dark Knight and The Batman both being like, hey, the Long Halloween rules, let's take different parts from it. And like Matt Reeves being like, oh man, shit, he left like half of that for me? Cool, I'm going to take that half.
I think the other thing that they could feasibly do, just because I really like, but I don't know how well they would. The thing is, like, I really like.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like Arkham Asylum on the Hill. What's the name of that?
Is this Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum that you're talking about?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. What it's like?
Serious House on Serious Earth.
Yes, that's Grant's. Yes.
That's one of those things that just came to me.
Yeah.
Yes. Like an adaptation that leans into that of just like really focusing on how Batman's interactions with all of the villains, they are all reflections of him, which obviously a lot of the movies play into that, but also how horrible the Psychiatric Institute of Arkham is and how it fucking breaks them. Like the bit there with Two-Face of like them being like, yeah, he used to flip a coin, but he, that's obviously a binary is bad, so we put him on a die, and then we worked our way up to like the I Ching, and now he can't make any fucking decisions, and so he just shits himself all the time. It's like, Jesus, man.
That's real?
That was Grant Morrison's take on it. Grant Morrison is a comic genius, and their work on Batman was one of the defining works of Batman for me. That's the one where Grant Morrison introduced Batman's son, Damian Wayne, who is a fantastic Robin because they were a little sociopath who would put like metal buckets on people's heads and then beat them with brooms while shouting, "Where is the hostage?" And this was after Bruce Wayne had died and Dick Grayson was filling in as Batman, and he was just like, "Holy shit, they did a number on you," because he was Bruce's son that he had after Talia al Ghul raped him.
Cool.
But it was always like explicit from that, and it was an interesting thing. And then Damian is just a little weird sociopath that I adore.
Speaking of a Robin, Batman was kind of eyeing that orphan boy from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I really was like, are they setting up a Dick Grayson thing, but having it be this instead?
They have to. Sorry.
They should do that because they haven't actually tackled Robin.
No, and Robert Pattinson said if we do Robin, he has to be 13. Sorry, he has to be 13.
Jacob Tremblay.
He has to be a little acrobat boy, a tiny little man who does flips all the time and runs up walls, and his parents are dead and he's sad. And then I take him in and I give him his first hug that he's had in 5 years, and I say, here's a little suit, and then we go out every night and we go punch the
I'm not proud of this, but I've cried to comic books a number of times. And spoilers for the modern run of comic books, but Alfred died not too long ago.
Hey, sorry, real quick. That's a sad thing that I just if you go to the Damian Wayne Wikipedia page, it has Damian Wayne doing the I had to do it to him pose. Like he is
that is
fully intentional.
Yeah, that's
fully intentional. Do not worry. But no, so they Bane killed Alfred. Long story short.
Burn.
And
Alfred
Alfred
adopted the butler. I was born in the butler.
Well, the beautiful thing with this is
big
that
guy.
Alfred
For an old butler. For a 90-year-old British man.
a sweet thing from this all is that Alfred, in his will, is just like, I had some good stock options. I made some smart investments. I'm very rich, but I care for you people. And he leaves Dick Grayson like $1 billion.
Damn.
And there's this beautiful panel, like full page spread of just Dick Grayson reading the letter, and just at the end, I'm getting choked up recounting it. At the end of it, he's just like, I hope you're okay that I did always see you as a son. And like, it's just like Dick Grayson being like, I lost my dad. And so I want a Batman movie that understands that, and just being like, Alfred is the dad of these people, of these weird That's the good thing with this film, is they're all fucking freaks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
the one. Alfred lives the explosion, which was very silly when he's like, "It's a bomb," and then he throws it away.
I like that.
It's good.
I like that the Riddler's bad at making bombs. He's okay at riddles. He's pretty mediocre at bombs.
Well, he's not that bad because he did make the 7 van bombs to blow up the seafront.
It's weird that the Riddler's ultimate plan was
online friends.
Maybe it was.
I thought once he got 500.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
Because once he had 500 followers, I assumed he had like 10% engagement, and 5 of those dudes could. Because there's no way he's getting all those different vans. He's getting 5 different vans and explosives. The Riddler, look at his apartment. He doesn't have that much money.
You can't rent 7 vans.
It's a cheap trick that they pull off in this, but I do like that you have that moment of like Batman driving the car, trying to get back, like calling frantically.
Yeah.
And then getting there.
And then it picks up and it's like, I tried to call you an hour ago. And you're like, oh shit, this part was a flashback? Yeah. I always like when something does that and you think that it's like, oh, this is happening and then this is happening. And then you're like, wait, shit, that already happened.
Well, it works because the alternative is like, oh no, these things are playing out simultaneously and he just happened to miss it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's better to be like, It is better to do the fucking Ozymandias. I made the decision
35 minutes ago.
Yes.
Yeah. It's good when it's her on the phone and then it pulls out and there's fucking fire crews like walking up and you're like, oh, damn. That's why she didn't pick up immediately.
Yeah.
She can't fucking hear. Good flick.
Yes, it's good.
It's dumb in the ways that these are all dumb, but it's exemplary in the ways that some of these, or that most of these are often not, and that is an important distinguishing factor for me.
All right.
It looks incredible. It sounds incredible.
We got to shift into wrapping up. We haven't really talked about the ending. A lot of people have criticized the third act of this movie, which I don't really understand. I feel like it ties everything together really well.
Because we've been recording for 2 hours and 53 minutes.
That is correct.
All right, so I have.
Wait. I only have 240 on mine.
Okay, well, we got to get.
I started right before we clapped.
We've been live for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
But 10 minutes to put together our sequel.
A lot of people have complained about the third act of the movie, which I don't really get. I mean, I guess people don't like the transfer from like the Riddler to the Riddler's people, but I don't know. Did you think it was like overly political? I thought it kind of worked.
I think it really worked because like the whole thing here is like, what is Batman? What is he to Gotham? Yeah. And like the initial pitch is that he is a symbol of fear. Mm-hmm. He is the thing that like the people of Gotham are afraid. And then as the movie goes on, you realize, and you especially once you get the Riddler bit, it's like no, you realize that to certain people of Gotham, he is a symbol of change, of real change. Again, to pull from the fucking Riddler thing of real change of like this is how like we are going to fucking storm the Capitol building or whatever.
We're gonna massacre everyone in Gotham Square Gardens.
Yeah,
the character arc is really simple, and it's laid out, I would say, pretty well. Of the guy on the ground going, "Don't hurt me," that Batman just saves, and Batman not doing anything, just disappearing. To at the end of the person, Batman looking of them looking at Batman, basically being like, "Don't leave me," and Batman like touching their hand and being like, "It's okay."
Yeah,
like that is the entire arc of that character in those scenes.
The entire thing of the movie is that Batman or Bruce Wayne does Batman to exercise like his trauma, his situation. It's something he does, but he says he does it for Gotham, that he's doing it to make the city a better place.
And then at the end, he fully is like, "This is how I make it a better place."
And the arc of this movie, the movie explores Bruce Wayne's relationship to Batman, how those tendencies are echoed and mirrored in the Riddler. And then Batman comes to realize he can't be that, symbol of fear, that he does have an impact on people. And he does, inspire something in Gotham, and he can do it for the better. And he realizes that through seeing his mirror, fucking the Riddler, his dark mirror, his dark twisted mirror, inspire these like 5 to 10 people to dress like him and real Slim Shady massacre some people in a square garden.
Yeah. And I say that kind of jokingly, but that is a perfect actual description of what they're doing, is Slim Shadying it.
Yeah. But I do think that that's really good because again, like the thesis of, at least going back to the Dark Knight, the thesis of the Dark Knight is that like what Batman realizes, he's like, I will have to be the villain in order for Harvey Dent to be the good guy and for people to idolize Harvey Dent. I will become the villain. And this one is he becomes that symbol of hope.
And he doesn't become the villain because he disappears for 7 years, and that's my biggest issue with the Nolan Batmans.
Sure.
Which I hope this one fixes.
But besides that, whatever. They're bad films. The thing that is a kicker to me is there's two things that are. One is big and is pretty fucking obvious because it's the guy he finds at the end when he unmasks the dude in the Riddler, and it's the guy that he was talking to at the funeral who was talking about how his his daughter died because his wife died because they could not afford cancer treatment or something. It was something where but it was like
the system failed this guy.
Right. Part of the reason that he is pissed is that the city promised and like the rich people have promised the Gotham renewal thing, and none of that money trickled down. That money went to enrich the people who are already there. And what happens when you have that happen? You do have people who buy into the fucking Riddler's like insane bullshit of like, well, let's kill everybody in the city. Because like, hey, at least that way change will occur. And maybe it'll work out for me. If I'm the person who's going to the gun and
it is easy to convince those who have been fully failed and recognize that there is nothing that matters in these actions to take extreme actions so as to force and inflict
So
change.
you get that, and then you also get a brief scene. I forget exactly where it is, but there is a brief scene where they do show people in the Riddler outfit, because there are also other people, they do see that there are people in the city who are seeing the Riddler doing this stuff and talking about the corruption going on and being like, yeah, no more lies.
Yeah, the protesters outside the funeral.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And also the guy in the funeral who Bruce Wayne talks to.
Yeah. So what villain do you pick to capitalize on all of this in this inflection point? Where it also seems that with the devastated, because the Riddler's plot is to flood the seawall, because Gotham is apparently also Amsterdam, and and
Chicago,
the
Amsterdam. It's obvious.
Yeah, and the city, the water, the ocean or whatever, takes a bunch of the city, and so they are fully devastated. And a key Batman story that Nolan also hints at in The Dark Knight Rises is No Man's Land.
I was going to say No Man's Land.
Yeah, where an earthquake devastates Gotham, and Gotham then is declared a no man's land by the United States government, and it's just kind of lawless, and the gangs tear it up.
Isn't there straight up a Batman comic where the Riddler does the same thing?
Year Zero is kind of where it's a similar. I don't know if the Riddler causes it. It's been a minute. I really like the Scott Snyder run. High recommendation. Greg Capullo's art, fucking bonkers as hell. Court of Owls, all-time great Batman story.
Court of Owls
but the thing,
Hush would be good.
Hush is
hinted at in this.
They kind of make the Riddler Hush, which I appreciate.
Well, they make the reporter that is killed has apparently the same surname as Hush or something like that.
Oh, and shit. Is it Elliot? Hush is Tommy Elliot.
Yeah. I believe they imply that the reporter's last name is Elliot. I believe they imply his first name's Thomas. And then there's the point where when the Riddler has his YouTube true crime video, that they have a picture of the reporter and then Hush is imposed over his face. So I don't think they're going to do Hush, or they're not going to have that character at all, but they did kind of Easter egg hint at that character. Robert Pattinson, I saw an interview where Robert...
it was Edward Elliot, but yes, it is Elliot.
Okay, yeah.
Is the name. So Thomas Elliot is...
Oh, yeah.
Hush...
I only say Hush because Hush is a really good example of a person that is here is somebody who has basically the same background as Batman, who's gone a different direction.
People said that maybe setting up Elliot... his brother, his potential brother, is a way to bring Hush into it, actually.
Or son or whatever. I don't hate that. The thing with Hush, and I think this kind of works, because I've always wanted to see one of these movies that just kind of makes their own villain, is that the original Hush story kind of sucks, but it's good because it's Jim Lee and he draws the fuck out of those characters. But Paul Dini, who made Batman the Animated Series, does a later version of Hush that's called the Heart of Hush story, where Hush steals Catwoman's heart. Because Hush was a talented surgeon, and then at the end of that series, or towards the middle of that run, it's revealed that he's gone under plastic surgery, so he looks exactly like Bruce Wayne, which I think is a fun sort of thing. Yeah. So you kind of do him plus him plus Clayface. I think.
Oh, we lost Ian again.
That's what I thought. Barry Keoghan I thought Barry Keoghan at the end might have been Two-Face because of the way they shot him. First thing where you only see half of his face is I thought that's what they were leaning towards, because, and again, going back to the Tim Burton Batmans, Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey is Two-Face and the Riddler.
Yeah.
Doing that, let's do that team up again.
Yeah, I think that I mean you probably do two in the next, and you have Catwoman's fall from heroism in it, but you don't have that clear cut. But I think, I don't know, I think you do. You probably elevate Penguin, and you do Two-Face. Maybe you throw in a third, and you can pull it off with Batman because they're mobbish usually, sort of stuff like that.
Yeah, I just don't want to run the risk of the Dark Knight.
I don't want Joker.
Yeah, I don't want Joker, and I don't want the Dark Knight Rises where it's fucking okay, it's Bane. Actually, no, just kidding. It's Talia al Ghul. Also, Wonder Woman, or not Wonder Woman, Catwoman is there. And,
yeah, okay. I think you make it clear from the start.
So Matt Reeves has said that anything that happens in this universe is going to be more grounded. This takes place more in our world, but also more in a genre world than
The Dark Knight,
the Nolan.
the Nolan trilogy.
So like
Yeah,
it's a neo-noir take on everything. So I think probably the closest is to that we're gonna get are those kind of like thriller films. So I think the second, like, I don't think we'll see anything crazy. I don't think we're gonna see Bane. I think for the second movie,
okay. We talked about it earlier. There is the part where he is knocked out on the top, on like basically on the scoreboard, and Catwoman has saved him, and he's like, okay, it's okay. And then she's getting attacked by another guy, and then he presses a button, and he stands up, and it's like fully like the adrenaline shot from Pulp Fiction, and it almost feels like it's too on the nose to not be like, is this Venom?
It is.
Hold on. It is more bonkers than that. He doesn't just he doesn't just press a button. He hits a button that opens a port on his fucking suit so that he can inject into that port on the suit, which rocks.
It's too clear to not be like, this is something that maybe the credit to Reeves is this is the case where he's like, I'm going to throw like 7 balls up in the air and we can figure this part out later. And if we don't follow it up, we don't follow it up. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
What I'd imagine is so Robert Pattinson in the interview I've seen is they're like, who's going to be in the next movie? And he says, I'd like to see the Court of Owls. And Paul Dano says, don't say it. And Robert Pattinson says, I'm just guessing. I just say it every single time, which that's what Robert Pattinson really wants to do. Matt Reeves has commented on wanting to do it. And I think that could work with the idea of Batman as like rebuilding hope as a symbol in Gotham. And also that Gotham has to rebuild given the like flood.
So for those of you listening who aren't aware, the Court of Owls was a recent addition to the Batman canon by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo when Scott Snyder took over after the relaunch of DC Comics with the New 52. And the general idea was basically sort of almost a shadow Batman that existed where there was a cabal of rich Gothamites who exploited the city, and they were the Court of Owls, and they had a protector, enforcer figure called Talon. And one of the things that happens in that is, as they uncover the stories, they learn that Dick Grayson was in line to be the next Talon. And the figure that is running for mayor in that election, or in that series that is running for mayor in that Batman is supporting, at the end of that is revealed to be Talon, and he is certain that he is Bruce Wayne's brother, Thomas Wayne Jr., a child that Martha had when she was sickly, and the child couldn't make it, or they weren't sure if the child was going to make it, and they were murdered before he was cleared from the hospital, so he was raised in an orphanage. And Batman later is like, he's a delusional person, but there's that little bit of ambiguity, and I'd be fucking down if they're like, let's fucking tackle that.
I think it would be cool if they did that. I think like even if they wanted to, again, that maybe leans a little too close to it and would give maybe some of the spoilers away or whatever. But like, I think they should do something with this mayor, because so much of this film was around that mayoral election that I think it would be a shame to not continue that political intrigue aspect. On the other hand, I also would love for them to just go bonkers with it and like, let's do the part where the Riddler goes into the Lazarus pool and goes insane and realizes that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
The only option. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can do that because of the fact that they hinted at it. They used that tension to deceive you in this film, which I think was wonderful. And I think Talon would be fun because it hasn't been tackled, and it's the thing where it's like there's only one storyline. It's a beloved story as it stands now, and it would just be fun because it's like, I mean, running off the top of my head, your options that they haven't covered in films at all. You've got Hugo Strange and Hush.
Yeah.
I mean, even Killer Croc was in a movie.
Not
Hugo Strange could work. Mad Hatter hasn't been done.
Hugo Strange was so much a part of the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Though, that like you can do that. You can
ventriloquist, and then like that. None of those work.
Yeah.
As well. Ivy's only been done the one time, and it's been 20 years. But the thing is that history's kind of indicated Poison Ivy. And that's the thing the Harley Quinn show operates on.
Well,
Where Harley Quinn is like, I'm not an or where Poison Ivy's like, I'm not an eco-terrorist, I'm fucking right.
I mean, they
Yeah.
could literally have Poison Ivy as an eco-terrorist that is the first act villain.
Because Gotham's been destroyed and she's like, the city should be reclaimed and we shouldn't rebuild it.
Yeah, that
Sure.
would work. And then also they could set
problem.
do they have anyone for Two-Face? They don't have. They haven't introduced any kind of Harvey Dent.
No, I thought Sarsgaard might be a fake out.
Yeah,
And then his head exploded.
They can
So
put
I
that
was
back
wrong.
together. The thing though with the Poison Ivy stuff is that Talia al Ghul in Dark Knight Rises kind of fulfills that role because her thing there plays into the humanity as a blah blah blah.
Yeah. Batman Begins does a cool job with Ra's al Ghul, and I wish that they did Talia cool at all, because the Al Ghul family is cool, but they can't touch them anytime soon. So I immediately cut them off.
They should do the thing.
Could you
They should do
combine Two-Face and Court of Owls into doing kind of a Manchurian Candidate thing?
That'd be fucking sick. Dude, that'd be so cool.
Yes.
And then
Also then that plays on what I said earlier and what we kind of talked about, where it's like the best Batman movies where they're just like, hey, you know what's a cool fucking flick? This movie. Let's make it with Batman.
And I
Or
think
like
that's
a
what we have to think of this Batman series as. I think if we see the Joker, he's going to be more of like a kind of a spree killer than anything else.
I hope he never gets out of Arkham and it's just like a looming. I would love if they, and like Reeves has said that they're going to release the scene, and that one of the key things with this is that Batman goes to talk to the Joker to get insight, and Joker is far more attached to Batman than Batman expected. And I would just love if it's just do that in the sequel. Make that in the film if it's just
I don't want them to do that because, again, to go back to what we were talking about earlier with the Silence of the Lambs thing, part of what makes it work in Silence of the Lambs is the dynamic there between Clarice Starling and Hannibal, or even in the Hannibal TV show,
they should
Will Graham and Jack and Hannibal going to visit him when he's arrested.
They should rip off Silence of the Lambs, because Silence of the Lambs is one of the 25 best films ever made. They will not succeed in doing that, but they should just do it.
Really, they should rip off.
I think we should go back to the 80s political thrillers. Manhunter.
I would say political thriller for the second one, because I think it's going to be about rebuilding Gotham. And then for the third one, assuming it's going to be a trilogy and a final one, we're going to go back to having to confront who Batman is and who Bruce Wayne is. And as the Joker is the ultimate mirror for him, I think that the Joker should be like a Hannibal Lecter through the second one. I don't know what he'd be good for as a Hannibal Lecter. I don't know how insightful he'd be.
It works. It works if you do it in this one with the Riddler. If you don't do it, since they didn't do it in this one, you probably should just skip that.
Yeah, but I think the Joker should be in the third one.
I hope that if they do 3, how many? I don't give a fucking shit. I'll see them. But so far, the Bale's Batman, the Nolan Batmans are the only one that have have a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the ending of that, because Neil Gaiman, who we're more mixed on these days, but did a great little 2-shot after Grant Morrison was killing Bruce Wayne, and it was called Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader, which was a callback to Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. That was done when they were ending the original DC universe for Superman. And the Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader was basically, it was Batman's funeral and all of these people are attending it, and you're like, it doesn't make sense, it's disjointed and all these things. And then it's basically revealed, and that's this 2-shot, that it's the reward for Batman in the afterlife is he keeps being Batman. There's some Batman quote where he's like, I could quit this at any time, but it's not today and it's not tomorrow. And I want a Batman series that ends not with Batman riding off into the sunset like what happens in the Nolan Batmans, but I want it to end with it's just he's gonna keep being Batman, and one day maybe some fucking kid on the street with a gun gets lucky and shoots him. Who knows? But regardless, till his last breath, he is Batman.
You know what?
So I would like it to be hey, here's like an ending, but not like the ending. Whatever they decide to do with this series.
I'll tell you,
know?
how they ended. I'll tell you how they ended. The opposite. It's a role reversal from the ending of the original taking of Pelham 123, where you know how that one ends.
Walter Matthau opens up the door.
Yeah, I think it should be that, but it's the Joker. Like Batman thinks he like is done, and then he like returns to the Batcave at the end of the day, and then just the door opens.
Joker's
he's like
dancing,
Alfred, and then it's just the Joker leaning in for a smile. And
I would actually
frame ending.
Be fucking down.
I got a couple endings. Here's my first pitch. Batman is at a diner.
So how funny? Sorry, how funny that the Riddler went into that like shitty New York diner and then was like, "Can I get just a little phone? Do you have a milk steamer? Do you have a frother? It's fine. If
Can I get a cortado? Can I get a cortado?
You guys don't do that because you're a diner.
Macchiato, classical macchiato, cappuccino.
Actually, I bet he's been going there for like 5 years and just he's like, "You guys should get a milk steamer. You guys should get
I'll buy it."
Here's the thing. He's been going there for 5 years and has continually gotten the one with the question mark. And it's only in the last like 2 months that the person who works there has been increasingly wondering, like, what the fuck is going on with this question mark? Some dude keeps like murdering people and calls himself the Riddler. And this weirdo keeps coming and getting.
I do love that he's like, I didn't do anything. And then he sees Batman out the window and he's like, it was me.
I do like that. I initially thought from the trailer that he ordered it like that. It's very nice that they showed him with the stirring straws that he did it himself.
It's so much better. It's such better insight into that dweeb that he's like, and I'm so mysterious.
And he's practiced it.
I do think that I think we should the thing that people liked about Winter Soldier to go to the MCU is that it is in some ways a 3 days of the Condor situation, right? Like it is. They call it that. It's not really that, but it is kind of like a 3 days of the Condor. I do think it would be cool to do like an All the King's Men or a Parallax View or a Manchurian Candidate for the
Manchurian Candidate is a perfect choice with Harvey Dent. And you do the Court of Owls and Harvey Dent, and that's genius. I just want to say real quick, I bring this up on As You Know, which you can find on wherever you listen to podcasts. But what I don't remember what episode it is where I bring this up. But do you know what 3 Days of the Condor is based on?
Three Doors Down. The band.
It's based on a novel called 6 Days of the Condor. And I think it rules.
That's right. That they cut it in half.
Hollywood is like, whoa. 6 days?
Yes, I remember finding that.
Whoa. How about 3 days? And then later it was turned into a TV series, and they're like, no. We can't limit it to 3 days. Just call it Condor, okay? Like, I just love that's the full fucking, the brain of it all, where it's like, whoa, 6 days, that's a lot. That's a fucking long book. 3 days, that's the movie. And then the TV series is like, maybe we want fucking season 3. Keep it open-ended. It's just called Condor. It's cleaner.
165 days of Condor.
How do you measure a condor?
125,600
condors.
Shit.
Yeah, I can't think of a better sequel idea than Manchurian Candidate with Two-Face and Court of Owls.
Well, and we're due for another one because the original was 80 something, and then they did the. The
original's like 60 something.
60s
because it's Sinatra, and then Jonathan Demme does it in 2004 as a Bush era. I think it's 2004, but it's Bush era with Denzel.
It feels like
Liev Schreiber.
It also feels like the time is right. Like part of the reason that the political thriller gained such height in the late 70s and 80s was a response to the Watergate scandal, and it feels like at this point there's so much not to be a person that's like, ooh, this will lead to great art or whatever, but there's so much shit that is going on that you could pull from. I mean, part of the reason that I love CBS procedurals is because you can always tell when they're like, oh yeah, somebody was watching CNN and when they were writing this episode. Like we just had an episode that brought up bath salts.
I'm trying to think who I think would crush it as
a Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent, yeah.
Josh Safdie.
I do think that the cool thing to do would be to have the new mayor be if they're doing a Court of the Owls thing. I think that having the new mayor be the Talon.
Right? Yeah,
Like, I think having that reveal would be cool because that's the thing that people would not, I think, other than the real nerds, would know or suspect. And then, having
another thing that would be sick is if, and I know it's always silly, if they just fucking bypassed Robin and we're just like, it's Batgirl. And one of my I mentioned it earlier. An important story when I was reading Batman comics as a child was No Man's Land, which introduced Cassie. Is it Cassie? Cassie Chang? Shit. Hold on.
Kang the Conqueror.
Cassandra Cain. It's Cassandra Cain, who is the half Asian Batgirl that just fucking shreds and slices throats. And I think just fucking jump to that one. Have that be the other character. I don't know. There's lots of Batman characters. Get weird with it. I'm just trying to think of like a sort of like clean cut actor around like Pattinson's age to play.
That'd be like a Harvey Dent.
Yeah, a Harvey Dent. And that's what I was going to say. Let's leave on that sort of thought.
Who is how old is Pattinson right now?
Pattinson is 35.
Okay.
So you probably want a little bit older for Harvey Dent? You know? Or do you go like full like?
I feel like you get somebody maybe in their 20s and he's like an up and coming like early into his career.
Yeah, okay.
That would be good. He's a little older, but who's that guy from Thank You for Smoking?
Are you saying Aaron Eckhart?
Yeah, Aaron Eckhart. He'd be great.
Fucking joke. Fuck off. Fuck you.
I'm just looking at actors and I'm
actors that are 40. How about this? What if they end the trilogy like fucking? What if the final movie is like? What if the second movie ends with him like adopting a kid, and then the third movie starts with Robin?
we can continue the podcast.
Joker breaks free, and then Joker breaks free, and then he kills Robin, and then like Batman beats the shit out of Joker, and then
somebody that I have always felt is deserving of a great role is Trevante Rhodes, who is in Moonlight as the oldest Chiron.
I mean, let's be realistic.
He's 32.
They're gonna give it to one of the fucking Stranger Things kids, like Finn Wolfhard.
They're too young. They're gonna play Robin.
Finn Wolfhard's gonna be Robin. Joker's gonna kill him. There's gonna be a scene at the end of the movie where Bruce Wayne is turning off the lights in Wayne Manor, and he's like, "Good night," but then it's dead. But then Robin's dead, and then he cries, and that's gonna be the end of the movie.
I think that, I think that would be something.
Just like throwing out some
Josh
names
Safdie's
here.
the best Two-Face. I'm sorry, I don't think
Josh Safdie would be great. Somebody who I think should be the star of something. He already was the star, but didn't get enough dessert. I think John Boyega should be attached to one of these fucking things.
That would be good.
He was done dirty by Star Wars.
Yeah, John Boyega deserves a better role, just in anything.
Yeah, he rules. But I think John Boyega, Trevante Rhodes. He's older, but somebody who hasn't done any of these type of roles, and I think is a tremendous actor, is Stephen Yuen.
Oh yeah.
And he could do that sort of thing where he's like really charming and handsome. Like, I already saying that, I'm like, holy shit. I would fully believe, like, yeah, I believe in Harvey Dent. And then you have that fucking, like, the switch is flipped and you're like, this is the scariest person on the planet. Because that's the thing that Eckhart fucked up, is he couldn't really be that scary.
Yeah.
But, like, as somebody who thinks that Burning is a great film.
They relied on the fucking bad.
Yeah.
Not bad, but like the CGI.
Yeah. Like, Stephen Yuen in Burning, there's like a moment where you're like, either this is the most bored human being on the planet or this dude's a sociopath. And I think he could fucking just flip that switch and just, be handsome in the suit. And you're like, yeah, that guy, he's a bright new day. And then just having that moment where suddenly you're like, holy shit, this is scary. What is he up to? Yeah, I'm gonna say Stephen Yeun is my choice.
I like that. What about Billy D. Williams was originally going to play Harvey Dent, and then they kicked him out so Tommy Lee Jones could take over. So why don't they honor that and cast Donald Glover as Harvey Dent?
Can I say Brian Tyree Henry instead? Actually, as
he's already a Joker. He's already a Joker. You can't be in both.
I do not remember that. I remember him from Internals, and I thought that was what you were going to say.
Oh, that's a good point. No, he works at the. He's the guy that Joker steals the medical files from at the hospital.
God.
Oh my God.
To
He
find
also
out he
is
was
in
beaten or molested or whatever.
Godzilla versus Kong as a podcaster.
That's true. He's played a podcaster. He can't be a Batman villain.
That podcast is rotting your brain, Coach Taylor says. But this podcast will never rot your brain.
Man, I can't wait until the Riddler and Joker break out of Arkham and start a podcast together called Renegade.
When is Nick? When is the THIMK episode on Friday Night Lights?
I don't know, in like a year when I finish it.
Okay, because the entirety of As You Know we will roll up in force.
Yeah, we'll do another 6-hour stream where we talk about that.
We should do that. You guys will watch Friday Night Lights. I will not watch Friday Night Lights. But I will just like.
Is this
to know what's going on?
Is this the second longest THIMK episode?
No,
it's gotta.
No, because I honestly we're at like about 2 hours and like 2.5 hours once I finish stuff. But here's what if they end the Batman movies like Whiplash? What if they basically do the end of The Dark Knight Rises, but then
Miles Teller
it just
genuinely
ends with Bruce Wayne just like he's like I'm settling down with Catwoman, I'm giving up my life of crime, and then just like he winds up just putting like a napkin over his face in Paris and beating the shit out of a mugger, and then he's like, I gotta go back.
If Miles Teller wasn't such a fucking shit, he would be perfect Two-Face.
I think
casting of the like the creation that we have of like Two-Face. If you're like clean cut, handsome man, immediately apparent there is a deep darkness and rage within him.
I think.
Oh fuck! It's gonna be Jared Leto.
It's gonna be Leto.
Paolo. No, he was already the Joker. They can't do it again.
It's Jared Leto. He always finds a way. It fucking sucks.
They won't stop putting him in shit. I think the way that the Batman trilogy should end is he goes to like a church to get get married or whatever, and then Thomas Wayne is there, and he gives him a big speech about like the importance of like family, and then he opens the door and it's white light, and it's just the ending to Lost.
That's pretty good. All right. That's been the episode of THIMK on the Batman. Join us in 2 years when we'll be doing the Batman 2.
Sorry. I pitched for the...
Yeah, I promised. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Batsman. Like the Kingsman, but the Batsman.
Fuck. All right. And
a couple years ago joked that Ray Fiennes was going to play Alfred, and I'm so mad that Andy Serkis chose it instead.
He was all right though. All right.
Oh, Hot Alfred.
Ian,
Hot Alfred 2020 too.
Plug your podcast one more time.
Hi. You can find me. I'm Ian Benson. You can find me at As You Know, a podcast that covers the first and last episodes of TV shows. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. We're also on Twitter at As You Know. You can also find me on Instagram at Psyop Abelman, because I finally unlocked my Instagram because I realized if I'm gonna actually start entering Kodak photo contests and being quasi serious about photography, I should probably just unlock my Instagram and shit like that. So you can do that. You can also find me on the street and you can say hey, and I'll be like, yo, what's up? You're a THIMK listener.
That's true.
I'd love to see it on the street. Do
you want to give out your home address so people can come and knock on your door?
It's not coming through.
Oh damn! It's not coming through. I think we lost.
Well, it came through. It came through on my recording of me using a taboo buzzer to buzz out my address.
Good.
Perfect. But you can also find me as a THIMK's resident comic book correspondent. I'll be back. I'll be back when I've taken you both hostage to talk about I don't know, Why the Last Man or whatever dumb
Ian,
shit I love.
It has been a pleasure. You can come back anytime. I say this prior to trying to edit this episode. Talk to me again in a week. No, I'm just kidding. You've been great. It's Paul that I have to worry about. Paul, do you have anything to say for yourself?
How do you fucking sleep at night, Paul?
God damn. As always, I'm partially on this podcast all the time, so
Partially on this podcast.
yeah.
Another spot, just cutting off Paul, another spot you can find me is right back here at twitch.tv/THIMK. Whenever one of these two decides to stream us playing Fortnite, or conversely, I would just fucking hang out and drink a beer while one of you streams Elden Ring as an Elden Ring expert.
I killed a dragon more regularly.
I killed a dragon and got 75,000 runes from doing that.
Oh, you did that, dragon?
I
fucking
fought
cheesed
the
that
biggest
dragon.
dragon today. I called Sony online support and asked them if I could get a refund for Elden Ring so I could buy it on PC. And they kept me on the phone for about 15 minutes. And the person kept saying, I'm working on your request. One moment. I'm busy with your request. One moment. I'm going to need to put you on hold. Would you mind holding? And I'm like, that's fine. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then suddenly they're just like, you played the game, so we can't refund it. Goodbye.
You died.
Fuck! I can't believe that Kaz Hirai did that to you.
It was
THIMK listeners, I am aware that Kaz Hirai has retired from that position. Do not tell me who was in charge of Sony Entertainment.
It's still the Kaz Hirai parody account.
Yes, it is still Kaz Hirai parody account, which in the bio explicitly says I have retired.
Yeah.
I'm now worried that I'm going to check the status of my PS5 and they're just going to be like, it's broken, but you played it. We're keeping it. Sorry.
Nick, I will contribute to the you play Elden Ring on PC fund.
There's no need. I have enough money. It's the principle. It's not the money.
But I will contribute on the promise that I get to guest and say shit as you're like, I'm thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, you fucking. What, you're gonna
If
do
anything, you know what I should do right now? I should play like Dark Souls. Like I should be playing Bloodborne. I should go back.
You can't play Bloodborne. That's PS exclusive.
Emulators.
Not for that. You should play. We should do the Bloodborne PSX demake. That would be cool.
I would love to watch that. Anyways, I'm gonna stop fanboying and let you guys end the episode.
I was gonna say, Nick, they're gonna send you back a PS4 because it depreciated in value.
They're gonna be like,
not even a
you
pro.
Played this. You can't.
Paul,
we can't replace it.
Paul, the friend that I got drinks with before coming here tonight is the friend that I let my Switch to. And she was like, I don't know, what's the Switch go for these days new? And I was like, $300. She's like, I'll pay you $150 for it. And I was like, so you're telling me that the OLED edition would only be $200? And she's like, so I'll talk to you when you come back from Los Angeles. And I was like, you have a deal.
Perfect. As always, you can find music that I do with the band that I'm in upstairs. The band is called Upstairs. You can find that music at upstairsuk.bandcamp.com. We are working on some new material that will. I don't know when it's gonna be out. We just started, but we've got some ideas floating around in as Hercule Porridge would say, the little gray cells. So
did you say Hercule Porridge?
Yeah, it's Hercules Porridge. That's his name. That's a bit in the movie. Anyway, watch that space. You can also find me on Twitter at Electric Mainline. It's electric without the first E. Mainline. Kind of named after a song from the spiritualized album Pure Phase.
Is that where it comes from?
Yeah, that's a nickname.
I've never known.
That's a
I was too afraid to ask.
I think it's on the cover of Pure Phase or something. I don't know. It's something that that John called me at some point. And you can also find me in the rafters at your local convention center, not doing crimes.
You can find me revving my Dodge Charger with the fucking like V36 engine dropped in the back while listening to Highway to the Anger Zone.
Yee, brother. All right. I'm Nick. This is Nick Rue. You can find me on Instagram at Nick Rue. You can find me on Venmo at Nick Rue. You can find me on Twitter as Bad Luigi. But there is someone with the screen name Nick Rue that you can message and ask them to give it to me. You can find this podcast at themethepodcast.com. Pretty much any website you can type in /themethepodcast.com except twitch.tv where you have to type in /THIMK. On the websites where we are, themethepodcast.com. If you do type in just THIMK, you're welcome to message the person that has that username and tell them to give it to us. I already have. But
Also,
strength in numbers, as the Riddler knew.
You can't find me on these spots, but I like to lord it over my friends. So, because I'm a better person than them, you can also find work that I'm vaguely associated with at fleshofthestars.bandcamp.com, silaschoice.bandcamp.com, where you can listen to an EP that was dedicated to me. Upstairsuk.bandcamp.com. Beautiful music that Paul has already alluded to, and I cannot wait to photograph. Prathloons.bandcamp.com. They've got an album coming out March 25th. That's very exciting. It was on the front page of Bandcamp. You can do all of these things, and as a better person, I love to spread the wealth.
Wait, it was on the front page of Bandcamp?
Yeah, it was on the front page of Bandcamp today. New and exciting.
That is exciting.
I know that. That's very cool.
Back to me, you can go to bandcamp.com/uglyjail and find a song that I put up a while ago as a joke. I think that's still up. I may have deleted it.
If you go to SoundCloud and you search Christmas Whiskey and you find Christmas Whiskey, the mixtape, Volume 1 and Volume 2, you'll find a mixtape of Christmas music that I added gunshots and voiceover to.
All right. Listen.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else to plug, and I don't.
Go on my Vimeo and leave some hate speech so I can report you.
Do not go on my Vimeo. I will report you to the police.
Until next time, don't think too hard without us.
500 followers.
535,600 minutes.
100
Bye.
followers.
Bye. Bye.
What gauge? Bye.